This is called Stabbed to Death Outside San Juan. It's about the time that Bruiser Brody got stabbed to death outside of San Juan.
The winter's wet, and the summer's hot. Take a match in Puerto Rico. Why not? Power and adrenaline flowing like amber from the recesses of the earth. Put on your waders and twitch. When the river runs high sometimes. Twitch when the tide ebbs low. See the sights, maybe go downtown. Sometimes you get some heat, sometimes it follows you around. When the blade hits the bone, everybody hears it sing. Shout room full of people, no one hears a goddamn thing. Twitch when the current runs wild sometimes. Twitch when the contact howls.
With the muffler, Ryan Bruckner, I'm Mike Big Tobacco Ryan. This is my intro. Welcome to let's call it a Cinco de Mayo edition of Squared Circle Hinama. All right, we'll keep going. I was moments away from just starting.
Were you trying to say jicama?
I don't know.
Jicama?
Hinama? I don't know. Well, I was trying to be racist. I was trying to be... Wait, you're Mexican, right?
I am.
Yeah.
Sadly, I do have plans for tomorrow.
What do you mean,
What a
sadly?
horrible cliche that is.
What are you talking about? I just went to your back fridge and
I
it
know.
was loaded
Have
with
all that
Victoria
Mexican beer.
and Sol Cerveza.
It's actually like
Modelo Negra,
embarrassing.
Modelo Especial. Why is it embarrassing? I love this day. There's nothing wrong with it. I love Cinco de Mayo, and I love that it's falling on a Sunday. And I
It's
can't wait to go
embarrassing
outside in my neighborhood and see that wonderful culture on the front patio, barbecuing and listening to polka music. And there's going to just the food and the women. Best on this planet.
That's
man.
not going to happen at all.
Sure
it's
it is.
going to be a bunch of white people drinking Coronas.
I said in my neighborhood.
You live in Koreatown.
Right, the north tip. My neighborhood is
The
90.
north tip.
Just the tip, man. My neighborhood is 95% Hispanic, I would say.
Yeah.
And I love it, man. Like, because, you know, they're out there partying on Fridays and Saturdays, and there's that sense of togetherness you get. And I like that the parties in Mexican families, it's like there's so much life going on that it spills outside. It spills out to the front. Because, like, the inside is just loaded with food and drinks and good vibes, you know?
Where does the life spill when you have a party?
Usually on the couch.
All over my shirt. I've never seen you wear a shirt that color before.
Oh, okay. I am representing WeHo Dodgeball. I saw this the finals of this dodgeball organization on Tuesday. WeHo stands for West Hollywood.
Oh, I thought it stands for we have sex in exchange for money.
No. This is a dodgeball league, man.
Oh.
What's the matter with
We
you?
have sex in exchange for money and play dodgeball.
Okay. I'm just
as well.
it's in WeHo, but I don't know for sure. It's in West Hollywood, sorry. I don't know for sure though if that's not what the acronyms stand for. So I can ask. But so we got some pinks and aquas going. I feel pretty good in it. It's a little too long for me, so I might get it hemmed by
kinda
my
wrinkled a
my
little
personal
bit.
seamstress.
You get some Febreze
Yeah.
spraying on them wrinkles.
Yep. Well, I saw the finals on Tuesday, and it was intense, very intense. And this is a rec league too. Cutthroat behavior. It's just balls flying everywhere, man.
Bloody noses.
Someone was concussed.
Really?
Someone was
really concussed?
Yep. And he left. He exited. I was actually chatting with the guy.
Like
that
they were
mistakenly
concussed?
I was pretty sure because he was lucid, but I chatted with him after, and he was a little loopy, and he went to the bathroom to vomit. So that's a bad sign.
Not a good sign. Or it might be bulimic.
What? I don't know, because it was he was blindsided, and it was like a no look throw, and I was actually chatting with the guy, awesome dude, beforehand, and I was watching my girlfriend playing, and he was doing like these resistant bands kind of a thing, and he's like,
Wow.
Hey, the girl right there, her catch really changed the complexion of this game.
The complexion of the
Yeah,
game.
because they were losing, and then after her catch just came out of nowhere. It was an amazing. She's got great hands. One side's just dominating, and then all of a sudden they just cherry pick them off. Boom, boom, boom. You're gone. Right directly after this game-changing moment where she just snags it out of nowhere. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. She got third place. Her team did. And it's just a rec league.
If you make references to the movie Dodgeball there,
I avoid it.
Are they like,
yes,
come on, buddy?
That's
Bush League.
Yeah,
shit.
for sure. And I could sense
Basic
that
bitch.
when yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You know nothing about the sport that I adore. And that's
We
what
were
I
playing
got.
this 5 years before that movie even came out. So take your Patches O'Houlihan and shove it up your ass.
I asked her this specifically, like our first conversation about dodgeball. I led with that. I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." So like that movie, and she's like, "Here we go again." Yeah, and I like totally backed up. I was like, "Oh, I get it.
You're lucky she didn't dump you there.
I get it." And she was like, "Oh, what? You like the wrestler?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." That's a breathtaking movie. But I think the majority don't.
Dodgeball isn't a joke. It's my life.
But the thing is, like, a lot of that movie generated a lot of eyeballs to that sport. Like, I remember in the wake of that successful hit, they were showing dodgeball on ESPN too. You know, they're not doing that now, right?
Yeah.
So
On the movie, it was on the Ocho, ESPN 8.
Nice. You are Mexican. Ocho is 8.
Yeah, but in the movie, they aired the dodgeball finals on the Ocho. It was called the Ocho.
Oh.
And it was ESPN 8.
Seen it once.
It's part of the joke.
Okay. Sorry. Boy, that's how many references is that I'm not picking up on at all?
dodgeball?
What's my streak here? No. I mean, just pop culture references of the time, which doesn't make any sense now, from feature films. Airheads.
Oh, yeah.
Christmas Vacation, right? This one I don't think is fair to add to the list because I'm not one of these guys that's like, I love the movie Dodgeball. It didn't really resonate with me. I was more of a Blades of Glory kind of guy.
I mean, I saw Dodgeball.
I saw it like once and laughed.
I think I saw it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
I saw it in the theater and then subsequent times on cable. Definitely.
Okay. So what are the plans for Cinco de Mayo, if you don't mind my asking?
Well, I'm going to bringing some guacamole and some.
And you just bought a puree
cervezas?
from what? Costco is my assumption.
No, it would be made from scratch.
Okay. I'm just kidding. Do you have a food processor?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's how you just chop up the fresh salsa that way?
You can. Well, I'm not making salsa. I'm making guacamole.
But don't you put salsa in the guacamole?
You could put pico de gallo in the guacamole.
That's how I do it. I usually get pico de gallo.
I don't think we're even going to use a food processor to
All
make
right,
the
cool.
guacamole. You want it to be crunchy. You don't want it to be too smooth.
I only ask because I have a brand new food processor in my car.
Bought a food
I
processor?
Did not. My mother did. And they
She
sent
said,
her
"You
2.
need this?"
No,
Oh,
they
she had
sent
2.
2, and she checked the credit
Where are you
card.
going to fit that in your tiny
It's
kitchen?
huge. It's one of the bigger ones too.
Yeah, you don't
this is
have-
like a $500 food processor.
You don't have
Like, it's
very much
Cuisinart.
counter space in there.
I know.
You
So
don't even
I
have
can't.
like a kitchen table.
Okay. What else don't I have? Dry armpits.
Yeah. Don't have that. Well, what do you have? Are you wearing your pads?
I still haven't tried them on yet.
Oh.
Because I've actually done this before. When I first noticed my excessive sweating, and it's just like turn 22, boom, I'm starting to sweat all the time. You know, I mean, my God, I'd wake up in the middle of the night. I thought I pissed the bed. I was just like, overnight, I sweat now a lot.
Well, you don't have clean sheets.
It was dry-by morning. A former roommate said that, like, after not pissing his bed, but like standing up on his bed and peeing onto his bed. And I was like, oh man, and then you slept in it? And he's like, man, it was dry-by morning. Oh God. Are you gonna change your sheets? I'm asking that, like, honestly.
What about the mattress?
Genuinely.
The
like,
mattress
are you
soaked it all up.
Yeah, it was like such just a loofah too, man. Oh. He didn't get a new bed, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, are you gonna wash your sheets? And if so, are you gonna use our washing machine?
That man has like
I would wish you would not.
such a strange relationship with piss.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
man
This
that
is a
we're,
multiple
that we're talking
who
about.
will remain nameless. Great guy. Seriously. Funny, engaging.
But likes
Boy,
to-
could he piss in public
likes to
places.
Pee in public, pee on himself, and pee on his
By
property
television.
and the property of others.
I think it was a cat. Yeah, right? So weird.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
Cat
how could a
just-
human be capable of this? I was so young and pure. He
cat
was like,
just
I don't know, probably a
snuck in.
cat. Man, that cat could piss. It's everywhere. Just like a tiny little tabby, just like pissing all over. Oh, man, I'm wasted. Meow. You know what? I'm glad that you're laughing. It's good to see your face because I come in here and you seem a little down. I can sense it in the energy in this room. It's kind of wafting. Are you okay?
I seemed down.
You seem very down and like kind of off and in mourning, I would even say. There's some sort of despair going on. Did something like bad just happen this morning?
Oh. You knew.
Did that pick up when I was like, coffee cup?
I broke my favorite coffee cup before you got here.
SCC alum. We've mentioned this coffee cup on the podcast.
I was trying to, like, I had those children's books that you see over there.
Yeah.
I had those and like
stack of
some
them.
other
Whole
things
stack
that I
of them.
had. And I had my coffee cup in my car, and I
Yeah.
had my big green drink,
And you still
I
have-
had my smart water.
You have too much
and
things.
I was like, I can carry it all.
I'm
And I had my coffee cup on the books.
I live on my own island. I'm a superhero. I
Like
can carry
a-
4 things at once.
like a waitress. I was just carrying
Oh,
it around.
really?
And that's how it felt.
You put the mug on
Honestly,
on the stack of
I
books?
I felt like that
like a diner in the
cup
50s?
was indestructible.
Yeah.
I really did because it's so sturdy. I was like, if this fell, nothing would happen.
Let's hit up Michael's, man. Let's get some let's get some ceramic glue.
Irreparable.
Shattered?
Shattered.
Oh dear.
Like my dreams.
Wow. How did you react? Did you pause? Did you just stand there, or did you just immediately weep? Because I know that you had. Look, man. I mean, I'm. This might sound like I'm messing with you, but it's like you love that mug, and it's something that was a part of your life every morning. And this is sad, but you know what? You know, the spirit lives on until you take the trash out, I guess. And you can always get a new mug. You know, that'll render the same amount of ounces, which was what,
not
like
the
16
same.
to 20 ounces.
They don't even make that cup
Are you
anymore.
sure? Are you sure? Did you really
Yeah.
check?
Last time I was in there, they didn't have it.
Let me, you know what? Let me get a good look at it before I leave. I'm gonna.
You are incapable of
Are you sure?
repairing this.
Where did you purchase it?
Rad Coffee in Upland, California. It's a punk rock coffee shop.
I know, it's awesome. And wasn't I like, dude? And I didn't even realize it said Rad Coffee on there. I was like, dude, that's a rad mug right there, bro. And you turn it, and it's like, oh, it actually says that because it's from Rad Coffee. I'm like, that is a cool mug.
I think there's one in Venice too.
Dude, why didn't you balance the smart water instead of the mug?
I think I was holding the smart water, the indestructible. But you can't like.
That's
you can
true. It
Hold
doesn't
an empty
balance.
mug.
Yeah.
And balance it.
I would have
easier
done the
than-
same thing. You know, at hindsight will always be 20/20, and I just wanted you to know that I am. My heart goes out to you.
Well,
It really
thanks for
does,
bringing
genuinely.
up my pain.
I didn't know what it was, dude. I just knew something was off, and obviously this is a traumatic. So I was right. This is a traumatic event that you experienced this morning. I was like, "Huh? You watching Cops?"
But to answer your question, making guacamole,
Okay, sorry.
bringing cervezas to my mom's.
Okay.
My mom is named Lourdes,
She's the best.
and we are having enchiladas
Ah, sí,
on
tete.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cerveza de talada con hielo.
And
Cerveza sin hielo, por favor.
Yeah. That was the first thing I learned in Mexico because
they were putting
drinking
ice in your
constantly
beer?
in the summer in August, and it was like, all right, first thing. So
everybody kept putting ice
the Californians
in your beer?
I went with were like, all right, first thing you do, just say beer, no ice. I don't care how warm it is. It's disgusting. And then all the Mexicans there in Merida that we were visiting were like, why don't you have ice in your beer? Like, don't you want to keep it cold? Yeah, because it's that hot. And so I was just ordering cerveza sin hielo. Por favor. And so I was just drinking warm beer.
The Setinto Caliente
Ugh,
Towers.
That's good.
Did you get that reference?
No, say it again. Say it again.
The Setinto Caliente Towers. That's from There's Something About Mary. Have you been to Santiago, Chile? Twice last year. Which one's yours?
I was like, is that
Are you
Spanish for
familiar with
Nakatomi?
the soccer stadium? You built the Stadio Olimpico? No, right next to it. The Setinto Caliente Towers.
Nice. Oh, that's funny. Who built the Banco Popular right next to it? That's what I want to know. Now that's a structure. And how does Lourdes usually celebrate Cinco de Mayo? Is it always a
doesn't.
party annually?
We don't. It just so happens that I needed to arrange a day,
Yeah, right.
weekend where I
You
can.
lie like a rug,
No, it's true.
bro.
I needed
Subconsciously,
to-
perhaps?
No, I needed to arrange a day where my brother-in-law was off of work
Okay.
on a weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and he could cut my son's hair. And so we're having a little fiesta, a hair.
So he's gonna
a
drink-
pillow cutting fiesta.
He's going to drink 7 Victorias, and then he's going to cut your child's hair for the first time.
Yeah,
Okay. Happy
Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo.
yeah.
Nice. That's a big. This is Owen's first haircut, right?
Yes, it is.
That's a huge
yeah,
deal.
It's a big milestone. He had
It
his
really is.
first swimming lesson.
I didn't. Did you realize that is a big thing? Like now that all of my friends have children, I've experienced the first haircut. My sister for Hannah, she cried when Hannah got her first haircut. So this is girls and boys, maybe even
Yeah.
more. Maybe more so with boy. I don't know. It's
Well,
kind of equal.
he
And
just
it's a
gets-
huge deal.
He's just been getting called a girl more often than
How
not.
short are you gonna go? Because I think his hair is awesome.
No, I think
I'm envious of his
just
hair.
kind of cutting it off of out of his eyes and
You know what I'm
like,
thinking? Step
above his
by
neck.
step.
day
Ooh,
by day.
baby.
Oh,
Give him a step, dude.
a
Shave
step cut.
penis step like I had. Maybe shave rad in homage to your coffee mug, R.I.P. in the back,
I'll let it,
Like
I'll
that
let that
Burger
happen
King
when
commercial
you
in
give him a haircut.
'92.
I'll let you give him a haircut and
Yeah.
try to attempt that.
Did you ever get lines as a kid in '92?
No,
I
I
did.
didn't.
I did. '91, I had lines.
Thank God I didn't.
I know.
I did get a step cut before.
Yeah, I rolled with a step, lines under the step.
I look so stupid.
High step,
though.
high step, lines.
It was ridiculous the way I looked.
like, what did the haircutter think? Like, what? You want me to do what?
Well, at the time, everybody was.
Everyone
doing
was
it,
doing
so They
Hammer.
were like, "Oh yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, MC
kid's
Hammer,
cool.
and then Vanilla Ice. It's like, okay,
This kid's
There we
wearing
go.
he's wearing Hammer pants. We gotta, hook
I
it
never
up."
styled my hair though like Vanilla Ice would. He would use product, so I just had
Yeah.
a step. I would part it down the middle, lines. It's like
Like a
damn.
real nerd.
I wonder if I destroyed all the photographic proof of that because I can't find any pictures of me with my hair, but I will show it to you if I ever stumble across them.
I recall a story about your trip to Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm wondering if you'd share it with the
Is it-
audience about you waking up in a certain state.
Oh yeah. Does it involve diarrhea?
yeah, it does.
Yeah. Maybe I'm missing
Maybe somebody
the
was
specifics of the story because all I
drinking
remember.
too many cervezas con hielo and had an accident all over you.
Yeah, it wasn't me. But then I had
Yeah, it wasn't your poo. It was
wasn't-
someone else's poo.
I woke up in someone else's poo and
On you.
and I thought I had pooed myself. Maybe it was my poo, and like I got
And
up
your
in the middle of
poos
the night.
mixed together?
No, it was my poo to begin with, and in the middle of the night, in a delirious state where I don't remember anything, I okay, I gotta switch sides, blame it on her,
Yeah.
just shove her in my poop, like, oh, you monster! You ought to be ashamed of yourself, you filthy whore! Look at this poo! No, it was not my poo. It was my significant other's poo, and I woke up to that, and there's just poo on me. I'm like, well, this sucks because I got up because I had to poo. And I wake up to like, oh boy, like I haven't gone yet, have I? And it's like, oh, I go in there wiping my leg.
Did you poo? And then clean
It
yourself
was a
up?
disaster.
Or
I had
clean
to.
yourself,
No,
poo, and then
that day was
clean yourself
horrible.
again.
We were in Cancun the day before, and we had these vodka shots that the girls with the whistles, woo, and they just pour it down your gullet. Lord knows what kind of poison that was, So I had severe diarrhea the whole day. I probably went like 4 times just before going out, and we had to fly. Like later that day, I was like, oh God. Thankfully, I had ejected everything, which was my goal, and I took Pepto-Bismol and I just loaded up on
probably pale as shit,
constipation med. Oh,
sweating everywhere,
just a disaster.
dehydrated.
Yeah, there were illegal substances going on as well, and it was crazy. We lost her friend. Who's
In Mexico?
It was an expecting mother. We just we didn't know at the time, and she was not drinking. She was just like, nah, I don't feel like drinking. Sober the whole time, right? Because she just discovered she was holding a child, and just lost her. I don't know if we just okay, we forgot that there was another human being in our group, and we just left.
Did you find her later?
Yeah, that night.
Oh, okay.
But freaking out, right?
What if she got kidnapped?
What I know, it could have been terrible. But it wasn't there was a huge group, right? And we all kind of split. And apparently the line of communication wasn't open because we didn't realize that she was our responsibility. I think that was the problem. And then she went off or we went off, and we just assumed she was with the other group, and that wasn't the case. But regardless of that, never would have happened had we not been, just blithering idiots, waking up to poop, red like
poop?
Tecate original. None of that light Tecate
like
shit.
a whole bunch of chamoy and
Oh my God.
and what tahine. It was tahine, chamoy, clamato.
I remember
and shrimp cocktail.
That's the thing. Because I hadn't really discovered the clamato yet, and it was everywhere, and it was pretty good. But, you have 6 of those. I'm not able to, pace myself all that well to this day. Imagine as a 20-something, I was just like, yeah, as long as I'm standing upright, we're good. And then moments later, okay, I'm no longer standing upright. Great. I think I was nice, though. I wasn't like, look at you disgusting chica. I don't know.
Chica. You would be like,
You are oozing
Cochina.
machismo right now. Out of your butt. It's just oozing all over the sheets. So I think I bumped into the maid as we were leaving, I was like, I sure hope we don't make eye contact. Whoever has to clean this. And of course she came right as we were opening the door. And I wanted to say it wasn't.
Did you leave a tip? I hope you did. You probably didn't, you son of a bitch.
But these 2 petite women and me, who's shit in the bed, right?
I just want to, I know, it was
Oh, God. You should
Hola.
have just thrown them away, man.
housekeeping.
Thrown the sheets away.
Oh, man, we couldn't do anything that morning. We couldn't rationalize anything. I was just like, today is about pooping and showering. Over and over. No eating and drinking water. Those 3 things, that's it. And then lying down in a shit-stained queen-size bed. Because when it's liquid, it doesn't stay confined to one part of the sheet, you know. It spreads out
Yeah.
a little bit, you know.
We actually, it was last weekend.
Could you imagine just pooping the bed, though, and it's just a solid poop? Just like you're that lazy.
Last weekend, we we put Owen down for a nap, and then we were both tired, and we both took a nap as well. And we put him in his crib for a nap in his diaper. And lately, he's like been taking his diaper off, and so he woke up from his nap, and there was like a nugget of poo next to him, and he had pissed all over his crib.
What happened?
So yeah,
He's like scratching his belly. Like,
yeah, he's like, oh,
morning.
yeah, one nugget of poo in his bed.
Does he watch you as you clean it up? Is he just like, hey, what's up? What you doing? Or
yeah,
he's on to
like,
the next thing?
Well, I mean, we wipe his ass for him every day.
No,
so.
like in this scenario where you're picking up a nugget of poo right next
Well,
to him.
Cassie cleaned it up, so I'm not really sure.
Did you have
sure
to?
he
Do you have to
didn't
rock
watch.
paper scissors for that, or did she just like
No,
her maternal instincts? Just
It's like
step
whoever
in?
discovers it.
Yeah,
is,
that's fair.
You know, she discovered it.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, you pointed it out. You're like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah. That's what Cinco de Mayo is all about to me, man.
Dude,
you
that's-
pooping in a bed in Mexico.
Oh gosh. Yep. Cancun, 2008. I want to say
Wow, that long ago?
that long ago. Could have been
Time
2009.
flies,
Yeah,
man.
it does. It sucks. It was over 10 years ago.
Speaking of which, Bray Wyatt debuted so long ago, and now he's back. Another reboot.
That's good.
You saw those Firefly
I did, and I
Funhouse
loved
things?
it. I loved
I
it.
know that you're a big fan of his.
I am
I wanted your opinion on those
I'm not
segments.
I mean, I was a big fan.
like,
well, that
besides
character when
a-
that character broke out.
Besides Elias,
5 years ago.
like I've never heard you really talk about another wrestler, modern wrestler,
Okay.
besides Bray Wyatt.
maybe Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens. But that
No,
gimmick
you
is great.
barely
It's
talk about
scary.
them.
It's the backwoods horror story that like I really like. You know, I kind of
Don't you feel like they botched his character though?
Yeah, for
like
sure.
he never
No,
won.
absolutely.
He was never evil to anybody.
no. I ever since he when they I think the nail in the coffin, ironically, was the segment with the Undertaker at WrestleMania 31. It's terrible. We all knew it was a throwaway match. At that time, he was just jobbing to everyone. I'd never seen him go over. It's like they just relied on the cool look of the character and the entrance, the awesome music, the props, the lamp, the participation with the cell phone. They're like, that's enough. All right. Everyone's going to watch his entrance. That's all he needs. And he never went over. And I got bothered of that. And I got tired of the gimmick. Now, this reboot looks pretty horrifying. Looks
It's
pretty
very
darn
horrifying. I
well
love that
written.
the word of the
and
day was
well
sociopath.
presented. Yeah, and I like how he snaps into that deep dark side, and he's brainwashing an army of children, which is
So,
really horrifying.
How does
and
this
the puppets are really horrifying. Abby the witch, scary. When I first saw that shot of the witch on the windowsill, I'm like, oh my god! Like it freaked me out. It was a scary moment. This is some A-level stuff.
How does this translate from the little vignettes to actually being a wrestler again?
Who knows? And it probably won't translate well. That's the beauty of vignettes.
Like,
That's the beauty.
What would
of,
you do to launch him successfully?
Okay, well, should we start with his music? Is it going to be the theme music of the show? Because that's a great song. We're going to be friends forever. This is a friendship that never, ever, ever ends for eternity. Do you think that will be his? Probably not. They'll probably separate the two. Is he
They
going to?
can't go back to the old music, right? The old music's too cool.
No, yeah. Oh, it'll be different, no
Yeah.
doubt, of course. Now his ring gear. Is he going to be wearing the same thing?
I think
the
he should
Mr.
wear the
Rogers
sweater.
sweater.
Yeah, he should wear the sweater.
Exactly as it is. That's kind of what he wrestled with with the Wyatt family. He just took off his butcher. What do you call that?
Like smock.
Butcher smock. Yeah, there you go. I want to get one of those. Like they're thick rubber or plastic. That'd be cool. Just horrify my neighbors.
Just wear that.
Yeah. Just walk
Use
around
your
at
food
night.
processor.
Yeah, I was just making salsa. What? And then roaming
It's
the
Cinco de
streets.
Mayo.
Big deal. That's a good question. I think he could roll solo. We shouldn't get the puppets involved, of course. That wouldn't make any sense. I think it should be kind of more subtle. I don't think there should be that much in-ring storytelling. I think the story, his persona, this gimmick should rely on the vignettes mostly, and that should carry the wrestling more than vice versa. This is definitely a heel. Or do you think people are going to appreciate? I haven't really said yet. Okay. Is it too much for him to bring in an army of brainwashed children to
there
the
was
ring?
that time that he did that with John Cena, remember?
That
and
might
it didn't really work.
Be a little too much.
Where he hypnotized that one kid.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I think visually it doesn't work. It's kind of like the idea of picturing a kid watching this Saturday morning show as he's getting brainwashed for nefarious reasons and not seeing the kid, but just kind of imagining him sitting, crisscross applesauce in front of the TV and just buying into it, totally being manipulated. The thought of that is more profound than actually visualizing it and seeing it. And I know that WWE writing would ruin it, probably, frankly. I don't,
They don't have the balls to do what needs to be done to really make him evil.
I hope
he needs to be pure
and
evil.
And this is evil. This is pure evil. He's willing to manipulate the most innocent, vulnerable thing on this planet, and that's children. And through what parents that aren't present and don't really realize is like, there's bright colors, happy music. So if you just kind of have that on the background and don't really listen to the content and what he's saying, you'll totally like, oh, okay, he loves the show. He's really connecting, because the parents are, it's just like Santa's bell. You don't hear it, right? But we're watching it as wrestling fans, so we're watching like, what's the point of this? Oh, okay, manipulation. Wow, he's found a different purpose. He's found a calling that's even darker than it was before. And he's trying to be good. That artwork was amazing. The House on Fire, great reveal.
Is that a callback to when Randy Orton burnt
match?
his shack?
I don't know, but it looks like there's a image in the window, but it's such a quick shot. I didn't go back and I think I'll go back and watch a still of that if there is actually like a screaming, Randy Orton in there.
But Randy Orton's the one that burnt
Orton's
it.
the one that started the fire.
And he's the one that screamed in the ring like, "You burnt my shack."
Oh, God. And what was that thing with the worms or whatever during the WrestleMania match? Was that 33?
That
was
the
garbage.
Worst thing I've seen.
And it's like I had already checked out on that Bray Wyatt persona years ago. But you could see why I liked it. I mean, when you see it for the first time, that sticks with you. That's like, wow, this is powerful stuff,
Yeah.
This is backwoods, creepy behavior. Like we're talking murder and hanging bodies on meat sticks, kind of scary.
But it just
and then
ended
it got
up
old.
with him getting like pinned clean every
and
time.
then he's a jobber. Yeah. So
what I would do is I would have him start collecting the children of different wrestlers on the roster. Like he starts feuding with somebody and he like steals their kid.
I like that a lot.
Or maybe remember that kid that was Braun Strowman's tag team partner?
Yeah.
Steals that kid.
Yeah. That would be.
Maybe he could steal Dominic.
Rey Mysterio. I was just gonna say
his adult son. Did you see? Like it was like I saw the. I didn't watch the episode, but I saw the still. I guess Rey Mysterio beat Samoa Joe in a rematch.
Okay.
And then Dominic hoisted Rey on his shoulders.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
Is that what they were intended to do at WrestleMania had he not been injured? I feel like they had a segment booked that they just weren't able to.
That they just had to fast forward through the match.
Right? Because it was it was like a 3-minute match.
It's a squash match.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that was a redirection.
It was so funny to me to see that giant kid
I know.
with his tiny dad on his shoulder.
now?
Yeah. He should recruit Dominic.
Yeah, that would be
Just
cool.
Start stealing
That'd
kids.
be the payoff.
Yeah.
So at first it's like kids go missing,
Yeah.
right?
And then they just start, working. Maybe they could be the production crew on his show.
Oh, what if he targets the production crew instead of wrestlers? Like staff, writing, cameramen.
Yeah.
They break the fourth wall. They're
He
on
just
camera
takes
now,
over
and
the
they're
show.
like, wait, your kid went missing too? So does he just steal a bunch of kids, or is it just he's targeting
Maybe
one
like
person
one
for a
at a
gimmick?
time, one per
So
feud.
each feud, yeah, I
he
like
collects
that.
a child. And it
Okay.
becomes like a crisis in the roster where like, are you going to do something about this, Vince? He's stealing all our damn kids.
Should we get the Bella twins involved? What do you think about that?
Steal Daniel Bryan's
yeah.
daughter.
Get a crossover action, be on Totally Divas. That could be a face turn for Daniel Bryan. You're opening up some possibilities. That's a terrible idea, though. What
No,
I
no,
just
I
did.
mean-
My contribution was not that good.
You know, no matter what, they're going to ruin it. I have no faith in them to do
This is brand new, right?
it correctly.
You sent me 2 vignettes.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming this is only 2 weeks old.
They started, like, ever since WrestleMania was over, they started kind of teasing it. Like, you would see, like, the puppets backstage.
Okay.
And you know, everybody's like, what are these weird puppets? Is this Bray Wyatt? Oh, this is going to be bad. But then the last 2 weeks, these segments came out, and I mean, I like them. For the most part, they're getting
I love those
well
teasers.
received.
I love those teasers, man.
Yeah.
Like the last good one that actually paid off was probably Y2J. I was like, what the hell is this? You know,
Yeah.
'Cause I wasn't reading the dirt sheets. I didn't know.
Oh, I knew. I
You
would
knew?
go on, like, every day when I got home from school,
Go on WrestleZone,
I'd go on Raja.
Raja. I went to WrestleZone, which sucked. The rumors,
Too many pop-up ads.
well, just the rumors were just ridiculous.
Yeah.
They never. I was just like, when are Razor and Diesel coming back? This is killing me. God, I miss them so much. I was devastated when they went to WCW. I was like devastated. And then the NWO took off. I was like, all right, this is cool. This is called competition. Wow. Huh.
So we're in the midst of our Dark Side of the Ring deep dive.
SCTV number 5, The Dark Side of the Ring. Volume 2 is a discussion of episode 3, The Killing of Bruiser Brody, and episode 4, The Last of the Von Erichs, available on Viceland and the Viceland app.
So in those two stories, there are a lot of disgusting promotional tactics. So I was kind of looking through over the years. Wrestling Observer always polls its readers of like what was the most disgusting promotional tactic of the year.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to present some of them to you, and maybe give me your where you would put it on the disgusting scale.
Oh, I get to rank things?
Yeah, you get to rank.
You know how much I love ranking
So
things.
some things are pretty innocent. Like this was the monster character in LaBelle Promotions. Oh, God damn it. So this guy was just like a monster. This was in 1981. So it's like this guy was fighting a monster.
It looks like Frankenstein's monster kind
which
of.
is like not that disgusting to me. But I guess it was like
as far as
1981.
disgusting or just kind of corny.
It's corny, but I guess to the 1981 audience, they were like, "This is making a mockery of the business."
I see. It's
like a 2.
same as the Yeti or the Yeti.
Yeah.
I can't really see his mask though. Are they portraying him as like a zombified kind of? We're going Frankenstein. This is
he's
hard
a
Frankenstein right here.
I think it's kind of cool. I think
I do too.
The way he's
This-
moving.
This works because I could see it as a man
Yeah, a
inside
man fighting
there
a monster.
that can find his inner monster. No, I'm talking about the monster though. I'm seeing
Yeah.
the monster as a man, and he wrestles his best when he's wearing this mask. What's wrong with
Yeah.
that? Right?
Yeah, I don't find it disgusting.
This not at all. No.
Yeah.
So how am I ranking this? Like on the scale of like gaping pus, like
Pus. Yeah.
wound.
Well, you make it. Pus-filled wound is the worst.
yeah, there you
Gaping wound with oozing pus.
go. Versus clean, freshly bidet white butthole.
Okay, that's 0.
Yeah, that's not disgusting at all.
Okay, and like the wound is on your. So we're talking like butt stuff happening to your butt is the scale, right?
No, the wound is like it's like a flesh wound, like on your rib
On
cage
your rib
or
cage?
something, and it's.
But imagine if you had like a horrible wound on your butthole.
That'd be worse.
Every time you pooped, it would
Oh, that'd be terrible.
get infected.
What if you had like a scab on your butthole?
Oh,
Ooh. All right. What's something that's gross? I'm so desensitized.
not those things
I don't
that we
think,
said.
I think an open wound is pretty, like a festering wound, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing more disgusting like that.
Well, this is pretty close to. This is like using a baby wipe. It's not quite using a bidet, but it's like you used.
Okay, here's the thing. It's the scale of going dry, but you wipe well. Like you wipe all of the poop from your butt, right?
Yeah.
But you don't have the benefit of wipes or bidet. It's just kind of gross, right? You're like,
but it wasn't a sloppy poo. It was
a clean poo.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. This is acing it and then dabbing it once.
Yeah.
Kind of gross, right? You're like, I might hop in the shower when I get home, but I feel fine. I'm going to continue working. Not that gross.
So 1982.
Bob Backlund. God.
They just said it was disgusting because he was still at the top, and they felt like they should make a change.
All right.
That's bidet. That's not disgusting at all. That's just,
that's
boring.
terrible. Absolutely. Wait a minute. It's disgusting because they put him over?
Yeah. Bob Backlund had held the title since 1978, and it's 1982 at this point. So the fans were just sick and tired of him, so they voted it as the most disgusting thing that he's still on top.
Okay. Well,
back in the early 80s.
And then he lost to Diesel at Madison Square Garden.
These get better as the years go along.
Yeah, that's bidet. For sure.
1983, Eddie Gilbert's broken neck. So WWF used a real-life neck injury to further a feud between two wrestlers who had nothing to do with Gilbert, Backlund and Mass Superstar. So they used his real, legitimate broken neck in another feud.
That is as disgusting as it gets.
It's kind of mildly disgusting.
It's disgusting as it gets, and what's the most disgusting is that it's so typical and common that that's what wrestling does. It exploits. So
this
it's
is
disgusting.
The early stages of it, though.
Yeah, and this
is
inspired
like when
a lot
people
of
were
it as
like,
well.
People were like, Black Sabbath is disgusting, but they hadn't heard Cannibal Corpse yet.
Okay, so festering wound has been cleaned, treated, and stitched.
Yes. Blackjack Mulligan fakes a heart attack in 1984.
Nah. That's not disgusting. I could see that.
So you just got your stitches out.
Feud. Got your stitches out. It's on the mend.
Yeah. So this ties into our Von Erichs
yes, it does.
thing. Mike Von Erich used right after getting out of the hospital for toxic shock syndrome to promote their Cotton Bowl show at a press conference.
Because I guess my fever was so high and my blood pressure. And later on in ICU, I remember a lot. I remember my brothers coming in, my mother, my father. I can't wait till the Cotton Bowl show. I'm gonna be there.
Do you have a message for your fans?
Yeah, be at that Cotton Bowl show if they want to see me back.
I mean, dude looks like a corpse.
He does, and
He's
he suffered
a
such
fucking zombie, man.
We're saying mild brain damage after that surgery. He suffered severe brain damage.
Yeah,
he was never the same. Look at him. I can hardly make out what he's saying. And look at his eyes.
Looking like it's like
he's so gaunt.
Coming like their eyes are bulging out of his skull. He looks like a corpse.
He looks like death.
And then just to hear him like slur Cotton Bowl.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, have some respect for your children. I think
Absolutely.
This is gaping, festering wound, and then some poo got into the wound and it reinfected it.
Some Cancun
and now
poo.
you've got like staph.
Yeah. Now you're out. You are out. You are missing work a lot. Now you are
missing life. You're gonna die. Yeah, that's about as bad as it gets in wrestling. I think your own son,
absolutely,
having a press conference when he can
and
barely even
the
speak.
sad part is that he probably didn't even take much to prod him and manipulate him into doing. As we talked about Bray Wyatt, is that there's no difference than what Fritz did with those poor children that are just cursed.
So next one is another Fritz von Erich angle. This is exploiting the death of Gino Hernandez. So Gino Hernandez dies in real life. We'll talk about that on the next episode of SCTV. And right before he died, he did an angle where he blinded Gentleman Chris Adams. So they were saying, shoot, Chris Adams is blind. And then Gino Hernandez dies. And then on the show, they're like, we have 2 tragedies this week. Gino Hernandez is dead, and Chris Adams is blind. Wow. So they're taking their kayfabe tragedy and putting it on the same level as the real death of one of their superstars.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Is it as bad as Mike Von Erich? Or
This is okay. No, it is no. So you have an appointment with an MD, and you've already discovered there's poop that's infecting your wound, and the MD says, like, there's hope. Let's tackle it right now. Welcome back. That was quick.
We're going to get some like moxicillin.
How did it happen? And you know what? I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. We don't have time for that. We got to prep you for
some antibiotics.
We got to prep you right now.
Yeah.
And so you feel a little bit better, even though you're very ill, deathly ill.
Bed rest.
But you're kind of starting to get on the mend, but you still feel a disgusting misery. And you start to second guess your purpose, and you start to second guess the meaning of life. But you feel physically better than when you discovered there was poop that was in your gaping, festering wound that broke the stitches for some. How does that, like, did you cram the poop into yourself? Or you were violently attacked by someone with poop in their hands?
Maybe you were wiping and you got it on your hand and you didn't realize because you're delirious.
You got bitten
from
by the butt monster.
Your wound, and then you were like,
oh, and the medication?
Is itchy. And you scratched your wound.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh,
you don't realize.
Poo on my hand.
What if, the antibiotics you're on are reacting to your antidepressants you're on, and you're starting to hallucinate or something like that? Maybe you're breathing in natural gas, because your pilot light's out.
Maybe it sounds like you have a lot of experience with this stuff. 1987, they voted the exploitation of the death of Mike Von Erich. So WCCW changed their David Von Erich tribute show that started in 84 into the David and Mike Memorial Show.
Wait, how soon after his suicide?
Like that year.
Okay.
They charged extra for VIP tickets and even had a female mud wrestling match at the Mike tribute show. I mean, I'm sure
I would have wanted it.
Yeah, I'm sure he was a big fan of mud wrestling matches. They all loved the ladies.
Jesus. Didn't he like die in mud? Or
he was like out on by the lake.
Yeah.
So he was surrounded by mud.
Oh, God. Disgusting. Gross.
I would say maybe a smidge below having him out at that press conference.
Me too. Yeah.
But still horrible. This is your child.
Yeah.
And you're promoting mud wrestling.
Disgusting.
I think you would appreciate it, though, if you died and I was like, hey, Mike told me that he wanted a mud wrestling match.
Because
I know if I hired some women to mud wrestle at your funeral, I think you'd probably be okay.
Because
with
your
that.
heart's in the right place, and Fritz's heart was never in the right
I
place.
wouldn't charge a dime. I wouldn't charge a dime for it.
Yeah.
I'd sell water.
That would be
at
awesome.
Your funeral, but I wouldn't pay
Too
to
bad.
see the mud wrestling.
Wow. But I'd be dead, unfortunately, and which would suck because I wouldn't
miss that for nothing. Andre the Giant must be 7'9".
MUDRASSLIN wrestling at a funeral.
At a funeral. Oh, yeah, are there 2 D's in mud wrestling? MUDRASSL. All right, forget it.
Fritz Von Erich, 1988, fakes a heart attack.
Okay.
To further an angle. Fritz collapses on television doing a heart attack angle to try to get sympathy. Not so long ago, they held the David and Mike Memorial Show. So to put their fans through losing another Von Erich was awful and tasteless at best.
No doubt.
So,
because this doesn't look like it generated a feud. This was just for his own reputation.
It was
he wanted sympathy. This wasn't part of an angle.
Yeah. Well, the Freebirds did something in the ring, and it was so upsetting to him that he had a heart attack.
Okay, if that sets up, decent material with the Freebirds, fine, but I doubt it did.
But maybe just don't say another Von Erich's gonna die right after we just lost 2.
Don't you feel like, I'm so glad, and we'll get to episode 2 in a little bit, but at least they mentioned the fact that he held a gun to Kevin's face, because everything else was like, oh yeah, he was a good man. He was a good man.
Yeah, he got off.
They painted him with such a flattering light.
We'll get
this
into that.
guy's a freaking monster.
1989, they voted Jose Gonzalez's babyface push as the most disgusting act. So Jose Gonzalez, the murderer of Bruiser Brody,
absolutely
stabbed him in 1988, and there was a trial after. After the case was closed abruptly in 89, he returned to WWC as the Invader #1 and was booked as a babyface.
You know what? This is worse, because before we're talking about manipulating and exploiting your children. But they were all raised in that environment, so it's not like it was surprising to them. This is murder. This is a murderer,
Yeah. This was like if Chris Benoit would have lived, and then they'd
they put the strap on. He becomes the new the new champ, for the new European champion.
He wins the hardcore title.
Jesus Christ, Ryan.
So this is bad.
This is the worst. Yeah, that's
okay.
This is the front runner.
I'll take your worst and I'll raise you.
Okay.
Because the next year, Atsushi Onita
is this New Japan?
Quote unquote stabbed by Jose Gonzalez in an angle in Japan in FMW.
My God.
Do you remember Onita? He was like back in the 90s. You heard of death matches.
I have. Yes,
in Japan, it was Onita.
Imagery. Yeah, for sure. Oh my.
So
God.
Onita did an angle with Jose Gonzalez, because Bruiser Brody was a big star in Japan. He wanted to capitalize it with an angle. So he and Gonzalez met to hype up a match at a press conference, and Gonzalez left. Onita bladed his stomach
I'm just angry.
several times.
Look at
to make it look
violent,
like he was stabbed to get the angle over.
I mean, if you look at the imagery, it's cool, right? Look at that. It's like something out of Reservoir Dogs, but this is exploiting an actual event 2 years after it happened to a wonderful man, to a beautiful man.
2 years after a man was murdered. You use that guy in an angle.
And you who philosophize disgrace and criticize all fears, bury the rag deep in your face, for now is the time for your tears. That is horrible. That's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, and you were able to freely quote Bob Dylan.
Oh, he picked up
nice.
on that.
I got that reference.
Yay! Thanks, Chris.
You
guys ever heard of this song?
So his stomach wouldn't bleed enough. He bladed his head, smeared the blood all over his body. He went to the hospital to ask for stitches, and they refused. He had the Japanese media on hand to take pictures. Just disgusting.
God, I see what's next.
Okay,
so that's the worst. That's
So what that was you died from the oozing wound,
but they found
a
poop
poo
donor
in it, and then somebody with AIDS found you, and had sex with that wound.
You're a corpse.
You're a corpse.
There was nothing we can do. You died of an infection from...
and then somebody with AIDS had sex with your wound, and now there's ejaculate with, AIDS
and you're
infected.
dead.
You're dead.
You're dead.
But then, a cat came...
And your family can't afford to give you a proper burial.
A cat came by and...
Oh, now I like it a
and
little
licked
more.
the wound.
Oh, that's...
And now that cat has an infection.
No!
And AIDS.
Oh! What kind of cat? Siamese?
One that looks just like Lilykins.
Oh! Lily with...
Do I get... As a corpse, does my rigor mortis penis get to penetrate this cat's pussy?
No.
No! Ow!
1991, we all know this one.
Lighthearted. It's the exploitation of the Persian Gulf War by Sergeant Slaughter.
Boy, I sure bought into this one. Man.
I
thought this was real life.
As far as wars go, it was like one of the more like innocent wars we had. Like it was just pretty.
We didn't know that in 1991. Well, we kind of
like
did.
well in 91, you know, the war. It was like an open and shut case. Like if you would have exploited the second Iraq war, that'd be pretty bad. But
it's just something that it's been done. You know.
Yeah, it's.
But here we go. We're comparing this to Fritz von Erich, and he exploited he was a Nazi. You know.
So you left a skid mark in your shorts.
And to counterbalance this, there were some really cool moments of wrestling fans in the crowd during the Gulf War, like saying, "We love you, troops." Roddy Piper was on fire. So at least we identified like this is the bad guy, right? And it was 100% unified against him. I was like, Sergeant Slaughter is a monster. What happened? I remember watching G.I. Joe cartoons, and I was like, God, he's sure changed.
And then the fact that they rehabilitated him.
Yeah, I know.
Later on.
Yeah, which is good. So at least, you know, I was brainwashed. Sorry.
Yeah.
Word of the day, right? Jeez.
92 isn't really that bad at all. It was the push of Eric Watts in WCW when Bill Watts was Booker.
Dustin Rhodes there.
He had no skill on the mic. He
Yeah.
was like 3 months out of wrestling school, and they pushed him to the moon. So they said that was disgusting.
Who cares? Come on. It was just a miss.
It's not like he became a big star
gross.
anyway.
Yeah, it's a miss. He's got a look. He's got a good look.
He's got a kind of a mullet-ish.
No, this is the least disgusting. I would say.
So this is, you know, you bidetted and you took a shower after.
And it's like and you're going to have, and you're about to have steak. So you know that later that night you're going to have some solid steak farts. And then you can like trap it, you know, in your bed sheets and then just let it waft and just smell it.
I think this is an even less disgusting thing.
So far, I love it. I love that blazer she's wearing.
Cactus Jack gets amnesia. So Vader
come on.
power bombed Cactus Jack on the concrete floor.
I saw
and
that
then
match.
He,
I love their.
He
This is a Halloween Havoc, right?
He forgot who he was and he became like a sailor.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, and Mick Foley crushed it. This shouldn't be on the list.
Not only did you have like a really nice
Great
poo,
steak.
you took a shower, you went to a spa, they put some hot stones.
Why can't
on
we
you.
get steak? We go to the Pomona Valley Mining Company, and I get you a ribeye, and you get some vegetables that you dip in that little mini bowl with I don't know whatever
garlic butter.
Garlic butter, yeah. We get artichoke. Dip that in some mayonnaise, and I'm like, you can have the heart. You can have the heart. You know why? 'Cause we're connecting. And this is all on me. I order you a zombie, you know, and you're like, there's a little too much sugar, but I do like the buzz. And then we sleep together and fart all night, man. I'm smelling
And that's
your farts.
like the least disgusting thing.
No, what I'm saying is steak farts smell good, right?
But we have to sleep together and fart together.
Okay.
That's like almost
suppose not.
on like the verge of like the Lillykins.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
AIDS wound for me.
Yeah, I do sweat a lot.
Let's just go with the hot stone treatment.
Okay. Sure. I don't know why. You're right. Okay.
94, Ric Flair's retirement angle, begging Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage to get him reinstated.
I remember this.
Disgusting.
Yeah, no.
The mid-90s, there was very
Nothing.
few disgusting things happening in wrestling.
That was right around like Bash of the Beach in Huntington Beach, man.
95 was Mean Gene Okerlund teasing to call the hotline to find out about a 45-year-old heavyweight champion that had died. So a bunch of people called thinking it was Ric Flair, but it was actually AWA Tag Team Champion Jerry Blackwell.
That's
And
mid-level gross.
Yeah, to put it in context, the hotline would have drawn $5,000 per weekend for the company, but when they did that tease, they had $50,000 to $75,000 in income.
And like 85% of it goes right to Gene Okerlund.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I mean,
This is good business.
Yeah, that was good business. So that's not that disgusting.
No.
96. This is probably disgusting for you. Fake Razor, fake Diesel.
Actually, no. Nope.
You were a
because I wasn't a fan, but I kind of like that we get to hear their music still, you know? And it was, okay, yeah, they're in Survivor Series matches. I didn't hate it at all. I didn't hate it.
I remember just being like, what? Why?
Yeah. But the promo with Jim Ross leading up to it was pretty compelling. Like, next week, I'm bringing them back, and then it was them. But, same music. They got the same gear. I didn't bother me that much.
Vince interviews Brian Pillman's wife on the
go.
air.
Yep.
The Raw after
his death, yeah.
Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, in suburban Cincinnati, the wife of Brian Pillman, Melanie Pillman. Melanie, thank you so much. I'm sure you're distraught, shocked, dismayed over this news, and we thank you very much for joining us tonight. I wonder, there's a great deal of speculation, obviously, when a 35-year-old man who is in competitive condition passes away. Can you please tell us, to end whatever speculation there may be, what can you tell us about what you have been told as far as Brian's death is concerned?
Apparently there was a problem with his heart, and apparently his heart was put under a lot of stress for some reason, and I can't really, tell you for sure what that reason was, but it was apparent heart attack in his sleep, and until the tests all were back, it's kind of inconclusive right now, but apparently his heart was under a lot of stress.
So do you think that she did that because she was like, well, maybe we'll get taken care of if we go on the air and appease Vince by telling the story? Do you think she felt like compelled to do it to help her family?
I don't know. But why was she approached that soon? I mean, like, a camera crew has to enter your house.
Could you imagine, like,
less than 24
if
hours?
Somebody did that to you, or
like he died on a Sunday before
your
pay-per-view,
mother,
right?
Like, that's horrible.
I don't know, but whatever. I don't think she was thinking rationally. Whatever it was, she was.
I think she was, in preservation mode. Like, they want us to do this. If we play ball, maybe Vince will take care of us, because they probably had a lot of bills and shit.
And that's fine.
Who knows if he was covered, life insurance, whatnot.
How do you think Brian Pillman would have felt if he saw that?
I'm sure he wouldn't have liked it.
He wouldn't have liked it, but what if it generated a source of income for the family? Because
then he probably would have liked it.
Yeah.
1998, exploiting Scott Hall's alcoholism on Nitro.
Gross. Brody.
Remember when he had the fight with Kevin Nash, and he's like, you want the drink? Ooh. And he punches him. He's like, how about a double? Ooh.
I bet he's hammered, man. Like,
yeah.
Because that's some good performing right there, I bet he just pounded like 8 beers.
Yeah, he's like, I
went out
do
there.
this method, man.
Yeah. Wouldn't you, though? It's like, if you're asked to, like, be a drunkard after you've already been, verbal about issues with it, but you're still, he was drinking at this time.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you, man? Wouldn't you just like, all right, then go to hell. I'm going to get wasted. If you're going to take advantage of me like this, you're going to pay me while I'm working intoxicated.
I think this is like on the level of, when you like went to work and you had hot red poo on your butt and you didn't know. it's like on that level.
Yeah,
Gross.
it stings. It stings.
Okay, back into gross territory. Continuing with Over the Edge after Owen Hart died. Yeah. Ugh. Where do you fall on that? Should the show have gone on?
Nope.
Or should they have stopped it?
I am with Bret Hart 100% of the way. It should have been stopped.
Yeah.
Because it was stopped.
I ordered it, and I would have been fine.
It was done. The performers were not there.
Yeah.
There were what was the card after that? I mean, Jeff
What
Jarrett.
would have been the do you think that people would have rioted?
No. Oh, my God. Yeah, absolutely. Totally disrespectful to the whole Hart family. Disgusting. This is just
oozing, festering wound.
Absolutely.
You're almost going to die.
Absolutely. This is right up there with what Fritz is capable of. Vince McMahon is a monster, and he's
Do you think
incapable of...
if Mike Von Erich
compassion.
died in the ring, the show would have gone on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Oh yeah. He probably would have
card.
doubled doubled the price for the DVD or whatever.
Yeah, and just to assume Owen would have wanted it that way. Like, oh, did you ask him?
Yeah.
Huh.
David Arquette winning the title in 2000.
Not even close.
Not that disgusting.
Not even close.
This one's one of my favorites. I don't know if you've heard about this one, but
Yes.
Stephanie McMahon comparing her father's indictment by the government to 9/11. Look at how hot she is. Oh my God. She was at her
10.
peak here. Look at that.
She's like a 20 out of 10.
Oh, let's listen to her say
Could
this.
you imagine? Oh.
A few years ago, some people tried to destroy my family. They
Smell
attacked
herb
my
steak
father's
farts.
reputation. They attacked my mother's reputation. And they attacked the World Wrestling Federation. They tried to rip us apart, but all they did was make my family stronger. And that's exactly how America feels right now. Because on Tuesday, America was attacked. But America is a united nation. And together, we stand strong. I am incredibly proud to be an American citizen. And I will stand up for my rights and my freedom.
That's like horrible. Like what?
I mean, as far as like the amount of deaths, comparing
That
this
just
to-
shows like the world they live in their own fantasy world.
everything before this was like exploiting the death of one person.
they feel like that's
Right?
appropriate.
One or two.
That's appropriate.
Well, how did she feel? She's like, I don't want to say that. Or she was
She
just
probably
like, she probably came up with it.
She felt that. She lives in that world where like that was their 9/11. Their dad having to go to court
Awful.
over steroids.
Awful. So you're already dead. Now Lily Kins, your precious cat, because she keeps close proximity to your body because she misses you and loves you, licks your wound, and she becomes infected by the HIV virus. And then she is now dead, and your mother has to bury both bodies in the backyard.
Well, then Lilykins goes and she hangs out with your aunt's dog Ben, and then they have a sexual
Don't
relationship.
bring Ben into
and then
this.
Ben also contracts the HIV
No!
virus because he was not told by Lilykins.
Okay, I love the idea of dogs and cats making love. That's kind of two worlds uniting. Don't like how it ends, though. But you're absolutely right.
And then the final one was the infamous
Oh, God.
Katie Vick
Of course.
necrophilia angle. Honestly,
Triple H didn't want
it's
to do
pretty
this.
gross, but
Not as bad as the stuff.
it's not as bad as the other stuff.
because it's a bad choice, but it's fake, right? It's all
just,
an angle.
It's just in bad taste and not like funny. And I don't think anybody saw that and was like, "Oh, now I really want to see this."
It wasn't
Kane
even Triple
match.
H. Like, oh, they're going with that one. Like they did multiple takes. Like they're choosing the one where I'm having sex with the corpse. Oh, that was a goof, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Or not. I don't know.
That's
That's a Brian. That's a Bruce Pritchard story. So
that's like a little
who knows?
worse than pooping.
It's
your
scripted.
pants.
It's scripted.
You
and
pooped
it doesn't.
you pooped your pants and you took your underwear off, but you didn't clean it, and then you wore the same underwear the next day.
Oh, that's worse. That's worse. I was gonna say, all right, you asked to go home early, and you shower, and you change. You get a fresh, clean pair of drawers, but you're living in it still. You're just like, I can't believe I'm capable of that.
And we move on to the dark side of the ring.
Episode 1. Killing of Bruiser Brody.
Episode 3.
Episode 3. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Episode 1 of what we're going to talk about right now.
Such
Yeah,
a
episode 3,
marked
sorry.
improvement from the first two episodes. man.
Hands down, everything. The reenactments.
Everything
And
was
I
better.
thought a little bit was that I'm very familiar with the story, but not as familiar with the Montreal Screwjob. Like, I know everything about it. So I was just, I haven't heard
But
the
just the
depths
tone.
of these
I mean,
stories.
the Montreal Screwjob is like a bunch of prima donnas, like crying about a bunch of fake shit. This is like
and-
a man was murdered,
this
and
is- a
people
man
are
is
telling the
murdered.
story of that murder.
And we reveal that Tony Atlas is a hero,
Yeah.
right? He is a hero. I love to hear his story.
What about him putting himself over? Did you catch that when he was like, and then we had to lift him up into the ambulance, but he was too big. And then I was like, I'll do it. And then he's like, don't drop me. And I was like, don't worry. I curl your weight.
Yeah, why not? Who
It's
cares?
like,
He's
you got to
painting
let
a
everybody
picture.
know that you
I won't drop you. Just you don't drop that picture of your boy.
I want you to know that I can curl more than you weigh.
Yeah, kind of, pretty much. But whatever. I mean, who
That's a
cares?
wrestler.
But it was
That's
beautiful.
wrestling. That's wrestling.
RASSLIN. That's wrestling. And then when we I don't know how specific we need to get on the story of this, but there's a stabbing, and he returns to the crime scene, and the guy that's the murderer
is there,
and all of his crew laughing it up, covering it up, knowing nothing
saying,
bad will
I'm going
happen.
to get away
to
with this, then I'm going to go to
And
Japan
they're
and exploit it
playing
in an
cards in
angle.
a locker room, and they are laughing. And Tony Atlas said that was even worse than witnessing my good friend, my weightlifting buddy, bleed out in my arms.
Do you know what was so effective for me? That the frenetic pacing that we've talked about in the episodes where they just like are moving a mile a minute.
Yeah.
But that going from Dutch Mantel to Abdullah the Butcher to Tony Atlas to Jim Cornette, just telling this compelling and just like story just filled me with dread. Like I watched this and I was just like,
well, they covered. It was too much of a broad scope, I think, for Elizabeth and Macho Man as well, because that WrestleMania 7 match, could have been its own episode,
and it wasn't as dark as this. I mean, nothing is as dark as this. This is a murder. Guy got away with murder.
God, and he would have survived had it not have happened in Puerto Rico, where apparently a stabbing is on par with a cold.
Yeah,
according to the doctor. This happens, in Claremont, right? He survives.
You stab me, we go to the hospital, I'm probably going to be okay.
Yeah, because he died of blood loss, correct? I mean, well, there were
they said that he nicked his liver,
his
too,
liver,
right?
sorry. Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, they said his feet were purple and stuff. So,
but they didn't. Did they operate on him? I don't.
Yeah,
it's like, and
did.
then I saw his feet were purple.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is a bad sign. What a sweet man! Like that, the interview when he didn't realize he was being recorded, and he's just saying his name and he's saying where he grew up, and he's like, "Oh, you guys are rolling right now." It's like, well, that's fine though. You didn't say anything earnest. Are you kidding me? Like I just said my name, my actual birth name. Like, and he's just so calm and like articulate. Like I could see, and his wife totally puts him over as the sweetest man, and I believe it.
Yeah,
just a wonder. Doesn't he look like a wholesome, like warm family man? A good
I was
paternal,
thinking so much about his son.
inspirational.
Did you see his son's Ribera tracksuit?
Oh man!
Oh, could you imagine having one of those? I didn't know they made kid-sized stuff.
Yeah.
Oh. And the fact that his son had to pick out his casket. Just put yourself in the mindset. Your dad is a famous pro wrestler.
Sticks.
You're 8 years old. You probably aren't smartened up to the business at all. You think your dad's a superhero that goes out and does crazy shit and vanquishes people like Abdullah the Butcher every week.
Yep.
And then you find out he's dead. You have to go to some foreign land, pick out his casket. There's a funeral that takes place out there.
And he never recovered. You could see that in his eyes. And he
yeah.
holds on to such rage. He wants justice, and he's just walking around. Yeah. He wasn't there, he like wasn't fully with it. Because he suffered what a traumatic event that just altered at that age, that just forever altered this poor this poor soul's life. And these mother effers. Carlos Colon.
Fucking I'm almost like hating Carlito now.
Yeah.
Just for being his son.
Disgusting. And they're playing cards, laughing it up.
Horrible.
At least Savio Vega was like, hey, man, they're looking for you.
Yeah.
Hide.
Is there anything more beautiful than
Walking the beach.
Japanese funeral?
No.
The tribute that they had for the mother
That
and
was
son.
Stunning. That
You
was,
know, for his induction into the WWE Hall of Fame, she wasn't even invited.
That's disgusting. God.
At least the Japanese had some class. What do you think of Mick Foley as a narrator over Dutch Mantel? I really liked his voice.
I
it was
prefer
better.
I do. So is that just because Dutch Mantel was so prevalent in this episode?
I
And
think
now
so.
we're going to go right back to Dutch Mantel for the
Von Erich
Martel
one.
for the. Well, I know, but for the rest probably, unless he has.
Probably, yeah. Unless he was really big
No,
with the Moolah.
This was
or
a
Gina
breath
Hernandez.
of fresh air. This was because we get the one-on-one. It's not just his voiceover narration. We see him speak, and we see how much of an impact he had on his wrestling career. Too bad they didn't interview the Berserker, though, because he just completely ripped off
Stole
the
his
husk.
husk
Just
gimmick.
completely ripped it off.
Yeah. Loved the footage of Brody swinging the chain in the crowd of Japanese people and them just running away like he's Godzilla.
Yes.
They were terrified. I mean,
Empty
like,
chairs.
how could you not be terrified?
Yeah.
The man is swinging a goddamn chain. You can imagine
You
getting
think that's
in
a
the-
real,
Yeah, those
like-
are real reactions.
What if we were there?
Imagine being like in PWG and
yeah.
somebody like him just starts swinging a chain.
Yeah, I know. We would have to be on guard for like the foul ball, if you will, would be
Yeah.
like, oh, they're diving. It's a dive. Oh,
Yeah.
man. You know.
That would need to happen. I think that needs to happen to a smug ass
Yeah.
post modern wrestling
Just
fan.
run
A
away.
big ass motherfucker with a chain that's gonna kill
Husk!
you.
Husk!
Yeah.
That would be horrifying.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, give me your
What a
take on
legend.
Abdullah.
He looked better than I thought he would, to be honest.
He creeps me out, man.
Yeah.
Even I'm scared of him, even though he's like using a walker now.
His head
His
is horrifying.
Those
are open wounds.
His fork scars
Talk
seem
about
to like
festering.
move. It seems like they moved
Yeah.
back.
But they're just lines. They become. He's
Yeah.
been poked so frequently that it's like connecting like a puzzle piece.
And he
they
has
become multiple
hepatitis.
lines.
He has hepatitis.
But he kind of maintained his fighting weight, so that's good.
Yeah. He.
Would you? We're talking tooth.
How much
decay.
would you have to get paid to eat his ribs from his Chinese food and rib restaurant?
Yeah. Well, he's not.
I would like. I just don't. Just the fact that it's associated with him grosses me out.
Like there
I'm
might
not
be
eating
a picture.
that food.
Do you think it's like?
What if he was in the kitchen and some sweat from his gaping head wounds fell into the food?
Oh God! All right. So even if he's not there, though,
His name's on the business.
I know.
I'm not touching
Right.
that.
But it wouldn't be as pleasant of an environment like Johnny Garlic's, where if we see Guy Fieri's mug everywhere, that's fine. It's like, hey, look at that shirt. It's like, hey, you hungry? You eating? Like, absolutely, Guy Fieri. And this, what if you see pictures of that Abdul the Butcher like getting electrocuted in the middle of the ring?
Him with a fork sticking out of his head, man.
So I give this. Are we still doing our scale 1 through 10, or does it adjust because of it's the boob tube variety?
We did 1 through 10 last week.
9.
I give this one 9.5. Much better
Much
than the
better.
other two. I'm
beautiful.
getting it. I'm getting their style, their pacing. What I don't understand is why were your first 2 episodes so weak? Come with the goods.
Well, they did come with the goods. This was the one that marketed the show. This was a free episode
They
before
gave it for
the premiere.
free, but it wasn't like the first episode of the series.
Yeah, it should have been.
Why don't you just make it the first episode?
I don't know.
So that everybody could get hyped.
This was breathtaking. And the reenactments were great.
Yeah.
And, that hair of the guy that portrayed Bruiser Brody.
It set such a
And
great
my girlfriend
tone.
was like, and you know that hair is real, right? This guy's a legend. I want to meet the guy that's portraying him in these reenactments.
So, episode 4, The Last of the Von Erichs.
She didn't really say that, though. I do. I just wish I had volume, you know?
You had
the
volume
in that
last
hair.
week. Your hair's flat again.
Yeah.
Remember I
Well, I didn't
complimented...
moose.
2 weeks ago, I complimented your volume.
Yeah.
And then you were like, well, it's a Friday. You usually see me on a weekend when I don't
Right.
care about my hair.
Yeah.
Your hair looked good last time you were here.
now it looks
this
like
time
shit.
it's flat.
Episode 4, the last of the Von Erichs. We pretty much touched on this. I mean, enough, probably. Fritz is a monster. Kevin
I think
probably
what makes
feels like he's a god.
I've listened to the Laps fan series that they just did. I've know almost everything about
That's
this.
the deepest of their dives, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, so deep.
Yeah.
And I've seen the World Class documentary on the WWE Network, and then I've also seen another one called Heroes of World Class on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I've seen multiple.
Do they touch
tellings
on
of this story.
the fake Von Erich? What was his name? Like Larry or Von Erich or something? Lance. Do they touch on that on the network when they?
I believe they
focus
did.
On
Yeah,
World Class.
Yeah, they did.
All right, because I would like to watch that just to see how bad that was.
You can't
Tasteless.
not talk about Lance.
Yeah.
When you're talking about like the downfall.
Let's go down the list
bad
here,
years.
though. Right. So we have 5 deaths. Okay. Number 1, Jack Jr., little kid, electrocuted.
So and then Kevin.
So that's the catalyst for family tragedy. This
Kevin
is a cursed
always
family.
knowing that he had a dead brother. It's like from the moment he was alive.
Oh yeah. So David is intestinal damage.
Yeah. What they didn't get into in
enteritis.
this gastroenteritis.
Gastroenteritis.
What they didn't get into on this was that Fritz was like saying, like playing kayfabe and saying like he had a match, he was kicked in the stomach.
Mm-hmm.
There's like different publications where he says that it like happened in the ring,
and it did not.
It did not.
He's bringing it back into story.
Yeah, making a story
He's
out
like,
of
now
it.
we can find the monster that kicked him and murdered him, and now that's the ultimate heel.
The biggest gate he ever drew, the most successful show he ever had, stemmed from the death of his son.
Yeah.
And his and Kerry finally got to have the NWA title
in a Tokyo hotel. And Bruiser Brody is in close proximity. And there was a rumor going around that he was an overdose and he hit all the pills, but that
they said that didn't happen. But I'm sure he had pills that were flushed. No,
oh
doubt
for sure,
about it. No
for sure, yeah.
It.
But that's just like covering for your bro.
Yeah.
You know, I would do that for you, man.
Thanks.
If you had like dick pills or something lying around, you know, it'd be like,
I want people to know about my dick pills.
Okay. Oh, you didn't have to. You didn't have to flush those. And if we're going in chronological order, then we have Mike next, I believe.
Yep.
Overdose.
Talked about.
And
No, Mike killed himself.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Committed suicide.
Suicide by overdose.
Yeah.
Sorry. By the lake, which inspired a mud wrestling contest.
Yep.
And we got Chris shot in the head,
Shot
9mm.
Oh God, I had never heard the detail of
Kerry Von Erich?
of Kevin finding him and then thinking that he took something because he saw him gasping
and
for
then
air,
it's a hole
and
in
then
his-
feeling the hole in the back of his head.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And he's like, he must have just done it.
How many times has this motherfucker
Two big
had to
ones.
relive this trauma?
Oh God.
Like every time like
You
he does
have-
any sort of wrestling media, he's recounting
And
the
it-
story of the deaths of his entire family.
But you have to have
even his dad.
His demeanor, though,
yeah,
is what makes it work. Because what he found God, he is now living in the present, but he's still
in
he's-
Hawaii on a beautiful property
his-
with a lovely golden retriever on a stream.
And his kids look well, you know, they look, I mean, the wrestlers, they look healthy, they look happy, they look like they've had a very positive, strong upbringing. I bet he's a great father, you know, and he's a hell of an orator, you know.
Yeah.
He's a kind of like a poetic guy.
I think that's what really worked about this one compared to the other documentaries I've seen. Although they leave details out from the story, it was just really, you know, about him. It's about all the tragedy that this man faced and him trying to, you know, get on an island away from it. Like the line that he said was like, the Pacific Ocean has no memory, and he's right in the middle of it.
Ooh.
I thought he said a lot of really effective things, and I just really felt for the guy.
Yeah, me too.
Man.
And you're right, because he's had to retell the story so many times. He's been requested by so many interviews, so many conventions to make an appearance, and they probably pay well. So he says yes. All right, let's get to Carrie, my personal favorite.
Do you remember when he died? I remember. I remember, like, I found out he died, and, like, my mom wouldn't tell me.
Yeah.
And why? How he died. And
There-
then I
there
asked
were
my
matches
dad,
that were
and my dad was like,
pre-recorded.
oh, he killed himself.
I thought it was a car accident for the longest time for some reason. Maybe that's what my dad said.
He killed himself. He only had half a foot.
But totally forgot that he shot himself in the heart on the property.
Which would you say is the most tragic of all of them? I kind of feel like Chris, because he wanted
is-
to emulate all his brothers.
Chris is
but
sad. He had the brittle bones.
He was not able to.
Physically, like, he was strong. He looked muscular, but he didn't have the lung capacity. He didn't have the physical strength.
Seeing that footage of him trying to do a leapfrog.
Yeah.
Oh, God. That was sad.
Take your pick, man. My decision, because you have a death at the age of 6. You know, I mean, that is the biggest tragedy that can happen to a family.
And then Kevin recounting seeing his dad punch a window. Could you imagine seeing, like, I always think about, like, what Owen sees and what he would process, and I would hate for him to ever see me, like, lose my temper.
Yeah.
And just thinking about a little boy not already confused about, like, why everybody is crying and upset. Where's my brother? And then you see your big ass scary dad punch a window.
Wow.
With his bare hands.
Add that to the
Oh my God.
Add that to the psyche. Jesus, that's how you're raised. You know.
Yeah.
That's like a launching pad. Wow. Well, with that, I give this one a 9.2. I didn't learn anything.
I give it an 8.5, but I thought there were.
You know what? Yeah. What did I give Brody? 9. I'm gonna give it 8.9.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give the nod to, because I felt like, just for the craft of television making.
Yeah.
I thought the Bruiser Brody episode was better composed, so I should rank that a little bit higher. And I learned a little bit more. But then again, I know the Von Erichs story more so than the Bruiser Brody story.
That line that really got me was, he says, I used to have 5 brothers, and now I'm not even a brother.
Now I'm not even a brother. And Jim Cornette relayed that.
The fact that they kind of end it, though, and they're like, maybe the story will continue. It's like, this story needs to end.
Yeah. And now his kids are wrestling.
Yeah,
they're dead.
I don't know.
This is a cursed family.
Yeah.
So, to the likes we've never, God, amazing, like this, the
Kennedys and the Von
Kennedys
Erichs.
and the Von Erichs, man. Absolutely.
I feel like the Von Erich story is more tragic than the Kennedy story.
Couldn't agree with you more.
So we'll go on to our final 2 episodes next.
Volume 3, baby.
Yeah. I'm Ryan the Muffler Bruckner saying, Huss! 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 Kombucha! Kombucha! Butcha!
And I'm Mike Big Tobacco Ryan. Bill, I've always had trouble responding to morons in the first place.